Hey everybody, SuperGirl here.
And I'm Eric.
I'm just so... Do I get to say I'm Aaron?
No, you're SuperGirl.
I don't want to be...
This is your show.
Alright. Anyway, we're getting into SuperGirl.
Are we gonna... Is that our intro?
I don't know, is it? You want to redo it?
I don't
Just
care.
See what works?
No, keep it.
Is it? I'm Aaron.
No, I already said my
Damn it.
name. We're keeping
Damn
it.
I'll just cut it.
I'm a guest star today because I have not been on any of the reactions for SuperGirl.
Yeah, Eric hasn't even seen any SuperGirl yet.
I'm replacing your wife.
Yes, which I replaced Alice. Anyway, Eric, have you watched SuperGirl yet?
Yeah, I've watched the first two.
You have any thoughts?
They're good.
You good?
She talks about Superman a lot.
Well, I mean, it's your cousin.
Yeah, I know, but there's this one, there's a lot of, and I'm not one of these guys that says, there's a lot of feminist shit in here, there's a lot of feminist stuff in this, but I find that to be slightly contradicting the fact that they bring up and allude to Superman and compare her to Superman every 5 minutes. Well, your cousin, the big guy, you don't call him Superman, the blue man, the guy can fly, the guy from Metropolis, all that stuff. I mean, he's in this show more than Supergirl is sometimes.
Talked about, yeah. I don't know. There was
That's my only complaint, really.
There was a comment that Grant made when she was like, women have to work twice as hard than any man.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're using that to kind of foreshadow or show off.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Superman. No one's talking about Supergirl because she hasn't done that much yet.
I get that, and I think that that's an apt statement to make because, I mean, there still is a lot of inequality when it comes to that kind of stuff, but is a superhero show, I mean, I guess, sure, a superhero show can be where you can talk about that kind of stuff, but if you're going to do that, to constantly have your main character compare herself to a male version of her character that's better in every way is slightly off, I thought. But I like the effects. I really enjoy the character. I think she's cute as shit. I think I really enjoy watching the show. I kind of enjoyed watching the show and then being able to watch a Blind Wave reaction to it and be like, oh, this is cool. I like this channel.
That's too damn bad, Eric.
All right, I'm part of it.
You're here now.
Yep.
We haven't really been doing any Q&As or anything, so we haven't been any questions. It's mainly just been about the show.
We don't have time, guys.
So I'm glad we don't have to do a Q&A.
Visit our Patreon and we'll do more.
We haven't had anyone really asking questions yet, but we have had a lot of people saying thanks for doing this because apparently not a lot of people are doing reactions for this show.
I don't think so, but I'm willing to do it.
I think it's gonna be fun. My biggest gripe with the show so far, I think, has just been the main, who I thought was the main villain, I guess. Was pretty much was like the main villain last episode.
Fought equally in the last episode. Yeah.
I kind of mentioned that last episode too, but I just felt like in Flash, which if you're watching Flash with us, there's gonna be a spoiler here in a second. This latest episode just had Zoom really kind of show up and show how powerful he is, and it's been like 7 episodes or something like that. Like I feel like we're further into we've kind of learned more about him.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, I mean Barry dies,
and and that too, it was frightening because he couldn't stand toe to toe with his rival there. But in this one, she threw her through a window and she came right back at her and stuff. It didn't seem like.
And what happened to her 2 Kryptonian henchmen? Because when they showed up and they did the eye thing, the blue eye thing, which you're completely right whenever you're doing.
Did that bother you too?
I don't like the blue eyes.
I don't know why they're blue.
I like red.
I was trying to think, is it a girl thing or something, or I don't know. But even
now Bizarro has blue eye stuff because he's the opposite of Superman.
Yeah, see, I can kind of understand that.
Yeah.
I just don't get why it's blue in this. It seems weird. I'm hoping they bring in something kind of new to fight. Maybe not quite Freak of the Week, but something cool.
I mean, not the end. I don't think her hand's not done.
No, I don't think so either. But I'm also interested in the Black Eye.
If this is at all connected with Arrow and Flash, I mean, aren't these guys super lucky that these bad guys don't show up in the Arrow show? Because there's no way Oliver can compete with any of the bad guys she's had. Mm-mm. And if his bad guys showed up here, there's no way they could give her any kind of competition.
Right? They're like, well, let's go here where there's competition.
They just happen to have the same power scale in this city. Oliver, everybody that's bad there can be taken down by a normal person. And then everybody that's super fast goes to Central City.
I'm also interested to see what happens with the leader of the EDO.
Oh,
DEO?
Hank Henshaw.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting,
Yeah. Now, do you know anything about Hank Henshaw?
I don't really know anything about Supergirl.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Hank...
I don't know who her, in the comics, I don't know who her main villain's supposed to be or any of that. I don't know any of it.
Now, we do have a spoiler-free policy, so nobody in the comments go down and start telling everybody what everybody is, but I do know Hank Henshaw.
Okay.
Okay?
So should I know it, or does it matter? Would it be nice to find it through here, whatever they do?
It'd be nice.
I know a lot of times, like, the comics, like...
They might be completely different from what
Yeah, the comics will go this way, but then the show takes it differently, so...
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Alright. Alright, well, let's get into SuperGirl.
National City does not need problems.
Maxwell Lord.
You do.
Does that mean something?
Lord your hero? I want a sit down.
Is he like a Lex Luthor?
Should
I not know? I'll be quiet.
Miss Grant, your interview with SuperGirl's already started.
Oh, yeah.
Interview time!
You can't see my face and tell who I am.
That's the thing, like...
Welcome to Super...
I'll talk to you about this and see what you think later.
The breezy breath thing. I'm still working on that last one. Oh, so you're not up to his level yet.
Jeez.
I wouldn't say that.
Murder.
So why are we just hearing from you now?
She doesn't recognize it?
No. No, she doesn't. Makes perfect sense!
How can you eat sticky buns for breakfast every day and still stay so thin? I'm an alien.
That's funny. I like that.
Supergirl and Superman are in fact related.
That's not a big deal, is it?
I would have said, like, hey, is that your sister? Why is that dangerous?
Confused, it just popped out.
Villains can use her as bait?
She's like a super interviewing villain.
That is literally the most boring power ever.
Hey, it's a new good guy.
Good guy.
Everyone has questioning intimate details about who
Oh,
he is,
Deathstroke!
where he's from, and what he's doing here.
And Iron Man had sex,
Adam.
and that's the baby.
Ant-Man.
And Deadpool.
They are indeed cousins.
Cousins.
Am I missing something? Why is that a big deal?
I don't get why it's a big deal.
Your mind?
No sign of alien activity? We're clear.
Run a thermal scan to be sure. And Miss Danvers, next time you're thinking of talking to the press,
Ooh, she's Batmaned him.
She's excited. It's her first pilot.
It's her first pilot.
I will say the flying effects are very good.
Yeah, I said about it too. I kind of like the...
Yeah.
You know?
It's easy to do.
Well, I just like it, though.
Yeah. Ah!
I mean, she didn't have...
Whoa, he can fly! Kind of a cool look.
Effect. Coming from his chest.
Yeah. Magic hour! Man, Neil. Can a stunt team teach people how to throw a punch? That's been a big problem.
I mean, maybe she hasn't been trained yet. That's the problem.
I guess.
Maybe her sister needs to teach her how to fight. Ah, my suit. Get him now, Supergirl, go! Go!
Okay.
Right?
Alright.
Like, go get him?
Yeah?
No.
No, I gotta stay here.
Dang.
I gotta fix this car.
I don't get it. That didn't make sense. I'd have just been like...
Reactron?
Reactron?
Kind of a stupid name. Who named
Dude, that's like
that?
our superhero name.
Olsen.
Reactron. We're reactors.
So, who is this guy?
We are Reactron.
unknown.
Hey, we should take it. That's ours. Alright.
It's ours now.
We're Reactron.
Taking it. I think that's mention 4 of
Scratch?
Superman.
Yeah, I think so.
Fact that in my many years of being a CEO, I have never thrown a phone at an assistant. I would very much like
Still
to keep that record
credits going?
intact.
I'll take care of it.
It's like 15 minutes in.
I know.
Right, we know Superman has fought him multiple times over the years.
I know. I was there.
How could I forget? Anyway, he shoots these highly...
Consider calling your cousin on this one. I've seen what Reactron can do.
James, if
He nearly killed Clark once.
Clark. Clark Kent is Superman.
Just trying to keep you safe.
and yes,
Huh.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
All the things that I'm not Superman's cousin. I'm Supergirl. And if I'm going to be defined, it's going to be by my victories and my losses. No one else's.
Okay.
Yes, still
Show's not really
okay.
reflecting that. This is my count of mentions of Clark and Superman.
It has to be the perfect.
Oh. Oh.
Oh.
Reactron!
Take me.
Once again, lower technologies have been the target
He's
of
not a
attack
coward.
by the criminal known as
Hey.
What?
That's the reporter from Parks and Rec. It is.
He seems. I mean, he sacrificed himself to save his employee.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a coward. Jay Garrick.
It's been 24 hours.
So this guy uses the suit but knows nothing about it.
Then,
Superman Stunt.
Yeah, he prevented the Corps from going into overload, saved millions of people. That's why he hates my cousin. He blames him for the death of his wife.
But Superman still managed to prevent an American Chernobyl.
You're counting my cousin.
Chernobyl. That gives me an idea.
Benko is dead. Superman saw to that. Now he's gonna lose someone too.
Whoa! Whoa! Aaron. Whoa!
Did Superman just show up and save everything?
Yeah! Jimmy caught him. And we'll never see him. Kitten!
If I ever got in trouble, I could contact you.
You just pressed it.
You
You trouble!
weren't in trouble. I was supposed to be the one saving him, not the other way around.
Protecting him.
How am I supposed to? I owe you big time.
Well, you could repay your debt right now. Could dance with me?
Yeah.
Sure.
Are we dancing?
Look at you, all dressed up in your big...
I think the red eyes thing is like a red herring. I think he's a good guy.
I keep wondering, like, it's red eyes. It's like, oh, everyone else is blue.
No, fuck
When's
off.
like, excuse me.
She's like... Poor guy. Oh! Ooh, nice.
Why is he always breaking shit?
So Superman just fought him off and took off? Or?
I guess. I mean, he hasn't killed him yet.
Okay. Like, hey! Look at her! I see her!
She's like, whoops! We saved you now, bitch!
Yeah! She gonna learn to
That's new.
dodge! She won't dodge. Ooh. Here's lead here. Blue.
I know, it bothers me.
But it makes her skin around her eyes go red.
Is her hand gonna be encased in lead now? She can...
That's kind of cool.
That's neat.
I like that.
I like that. I like
It
it.
doesn't hurt her. That's the best thing I've seen in this show in 3 episodes. She can't do that yet. Whoa, he can do it on his feet too?
I don't know how his suit works.
I like it though.
Why does he have to wear a mask?
Because it's cool looking.
How is she stopping it now? It always seemed to hurt her before, right?
She's durable.
Like her hand can stop it, but her body can't?
I don't know, Aaron. I mean, you can get hit by a punch. I don't know. Ask me later.
Take it to his face! Throw it!
Yeah, what's she gonna do now? Is he just dead?
It's not fully encased, really, you know what I mean?
That'll fly off.
Take this.
How'd he get there?
Well, that thing blows up.
She's like, ah! Jimmy!
Thank you for a minute. I wanted to ask. Sorry. I didn't know you weren't.
Uh-oh.
Lucy Lane.
Oh, hey, it's nice to meet you, Kyle.
Lucy Lane?
Yeah, there's Lucy Lane. Oh. Clark uses IM? I will not save you. I'll let you die.
That means a lot to me.
You're gonna count that one, too? You didn't count all the other times Clark's name popped up on the screen?
Yeah.
Like, you should have
I'm trying to
5
get
more to it.
I'm trying to give him a little leeway. So when they say the name, use a pronoun.
You counted every he, him, his,
Pronoun.
cousin.
That's how much they talk about
You
it.
counted them all.
You're doing things that Superman couldn't even do. Well, I may not need Superman to be here, but...
Alright, Eric. That was it for Supergirl this week.
All right.
I wrote a few things down. They made a comment about, like, what was it? Henshaw? It was like,
Hank Henshaw.
yeah, he was like, it's not our responsibility to take care of him.
Because he's human, he's not an alien.
Yeah.
So it's not their jurisdiction. Is
Yeah.
What he's trying to say.
So call Superman if we need to stop him. But I was like, why don't they just use that for everything then? If there's a villain in the air, just call Superman.
I mean, is Supergirl officially a part of this thing?
What do you mean?
The DC
DEO?
DEO? Is she like an agent? Because she can just go do what the fuck she wants, and you help her out when she needs to.
Yeah.
Right? So what does he care if she's doing that?
I don't know. I don't get really why it mattered and why, it's there. If they're in this city and they need to keep the city protected,
Yeah.
well, call Superman. Well, we have a superhero right here that is basically, is not as trained, but can do pretty much everything he can.
And you would kind of figure that, like, look, we're like a specially trained task force to deal with, like, superpowered things.
Yeah.
Well, we could handle this guy that has energy coming out of his chest and take it to a
This
limb.
guy has a suit. Let's figure out how to destroy
Like,
his
no,
suit.
he's not alien.
Which, speaking of his suit, all right, this guy got injured by nuclear stuff, and
While Superman was fighting someone else?
I don't know. His wife died. I don't know how that worked.
Okay.
My biggest question, I guess, with it is, where'd the suit come from? If when
Yeah.
it got broken, he had to find someone else to fix it. He knew how to build it, but not how to fix it?
Is Reactron a character that we just don't know?
I mean, maybe. I don't
Okay.
know. Like I said, I don't know anything about Supergirl. I don't know a whole lot about Superman.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Like, how do you initially get the suit? Why does he wear a mask? Just because this covers ugly face?
Maybe my lack of DC knowledge, since I was more of a Marvel guy.
Yeah.
Maybe my lack of DC knowledge, I don't know how his story is supposed to work, but it just seemed weird
No,
that he had a suit that he could operate,
Yeah.
but then it got damaged, so he had to find someone else to fix the suit. Where do you get the suit to begin with?
Yeah, true. I mean, your lack of DC knowledge, you could say, is like hampering yourself as a viewer, but that should be the opposite. Like, your abundance of Marvel knowledge could hamper watching Shield because you know so much and they get something wrong. Whereas here, it should be new and exciting and fun and presented to you in a way that you're not so confused. And
Sure.
I think they've really dropped the ball on that in this show a little bit.
Yeah. The other thing I put is this show doesn't really like secret identities, do they?
Not really, no. They just straight up. Superman was out now with the one guy.
In the first episode, she was revealed to the DEO.
Yep.
To Win, to Jimmy.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, Jimmy already knew.
Yeah. But I mean,
the only person that doesn't know is Cat Grant and
pretty
Maxwell
much.
Lord.
Yeah.
The only two characters in this show that don't know are Maxwell Lord and Cat Grant.
Mm-hmm. And in this episode, they just dropped the ball on Clark.
Yeah.
It's like Clark Kent Superman. What? Jimmy, is the secret you've been keeping for how long, and you just drop it?
That was weird. That was really weird. Okay, I got a couple things. First of all, the fighting in this show. I've yet to be impressed with the fight.
It's not like Arrow.
It's not like Arrow at all. It's not really like Flash, even though Flash is a little different.
Yeah.
But who is in charge of the stunt work here? I understand you got a lot of wire work you have to do with Supergirl. I understand you have a lot of effects you have to do. If you notice, they almost never have her do her fly, stop, and then land in the same shot. It's always fly, out of frame, and then land. Because that's easier to do. Yeah. And I get that. And I understand easier to do means cheaper. But you gotta teach this girl how to punch.
Well, okay.
I know that she's not trained.
I would say story-wise, it could make sense. She doesn't know how to do it. Her sister hasn't taught her. I would be hopeful that maybe give this season her sister actually teaches her, and then the fighting gets better because story has driven it that way.
I get that, but I was not super. I really enjoyed the first villain in the first episode. The villain last episode, the woman, I didn't feel like she should be a general or whatever. She didn't felt like she knew what she was doing. And then this guy here kind of has a little haymaker.
I mean, this guy was in like a big suit. Maybe he was. I don't know what the heck was he, like a scientist?
Yeah,
I guess just pissed off. I mean, maybe so.
I don't know. It just so she's not trained. So let's have bad looking punches. Is that what you're saying? They're intentionally making her look bad?
Maybe. I mean, if you go and take someone on the street who has no training and have them start fighting, they're gonna throw punches like that. They're just gonna throw punches. They're like, "Oh, this should work." Oh.
Yeah.
It's
just hard for me to get over how bad it looks.
I would now if they go through training and it still is like that, then I'm like, come on, guys. Or if they don't do any training, I would hope give it a few more episodes. Like, hey, this is your weakness. You need to learn to fight.
I mean, with how fast she's supposed to be, I feel like she moves very slow.
Yeah.
Except for when she flies.
Yeah. I mean, the only one faster than her is the Flash, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, kind of.
Clark.
And Zoom. Zoom is much faster.
Did you get why? I mean, I guess they kind of showed because someone who's mad at Superman, but the cousins are. Why'd you tell him when you're a cousin? I mean, with the exception of this one guy who's like, Superman hurt me, I will hurt him by killing his cousin.
I just figured that, hey, there's a Superman, and then how many years later there's a Supergirl. My first question was, hey, any relation? And everyone's like, oh, huge revelation, they're related. I'd be like, well, that makes sense.
Last episode, I think, was Cat's like, are they sisters? Is it his girlfriend? You know, like stuff like that. And like, I mean,
are they siblings?
Yeah.
Are they sisters?
Are they sisters? Are they siblings?
Superman!
Yeah. Is it her sister? Or is it his sister or something like that? Yeah. But, I mean, they were already talking about that. So why is it so big and why is it so bad that people know? I mean, if you're like, crap, they're cousins, she can be as powerful as he is. We don't want to F with that. Let's stay away from national city.
I mean, Occam's razor, the most simple solution to that question, Aaron, is that they needed to have a reason this guy's going to go after it.
And it was revenge.
And it just wasn't super well written. Are we millennials?
I don't know.
What is a millennial?
I think millennials are people born in the 2000s.
I don't think so, is it?
It's not the 90s, I don't think.
No, because millennials
is
are
it
like...
the 90s? Is it 80s generation? Yeah, it's not the 90s, as I said.
I think a millennial...
It's the 2000s.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I thought a millennial was like someone that like their formative years were like after the 2000.
No, I think it's someone born after 2000.
So you're telling me the millennial generation that Supergirl's a part of is only 15 years old? I'm just saying millennials now are supposed to be in college, right?
Because I thought that the 90s was considered Generation X, right?
I think that's people that were like in high school in the 90s. So like my brother's generation, probably Generation X, or maybe a couple years before that.
I think we're Generation X.
I don't know, and I'm too lazy to look it up, but I don't know if we're millennials or not.
What, did the millennial?
I would have graduated in 2005. Am I a millennial, and should I care, and is that insulting to me?
I don't know, because they had like the boomers and stuff too at some point.
Well, that was the baby boomers are the soldiers came home from the war.
That's like the 50s.
Yeah.
And they had something else, and they had something in the 80s, and I think it was Generation X, and then 2000s was millennials.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know. We'll figure it out, but I don't think millennials are at max 15 years old.
I guess you could write where it's like based on like their most influential time of growing up, rather than like the day they were born.
Like your high school years.
But I still think we're Generation X.
Okay.
I feel like most of my influence growing up would have been like in the 5th to 8th grade time, and then I was kind of who I was in high school. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I got bored with my own question.
Millennials, also known as the Millennial Generation or Generation Y, are the demographic cohort following Generation X. There is no precise dates when the generation starts and ends. Most researchers and commentators use birth years ranging from early 1980s to the early 2000s.
Early 1980s.
A lot of time.
Because I'm 87, so...
Doesn't make any sense. All right.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
This doesn't make sense, but how apt, because this show sometimes doesn't make sense. Aaron, I got some beefs a little bit.
It sounds like it.
Everything about this show only exists to mention Superman. I'm sorry, but I can tell you exactly why. There's a whole lot of things.
I can tell you exactly why it's going to do that, too.
What's that?
Well, because if there's someone who's this powerful and whatnot, and someone shows up just like it, there's going to be a lot of comparisons in the beginning of that individual who is known.
But when you use the word a lot of comparisons, I mean, there's a lot of things. First of all, just to get out of the way, because I was doing it and Aaron already saw it, I have 42 pronoun mentions.
You have 41. 42 was him showing up.
First of all, I intentionally missed some because I felt how many I was counting.
Well, you count every he, him, his.
I just said pronoun mentions. Every time they said, Clark, Superman, he did this, it's his, he's the blue guy, he's that. I mean, over 40 is a lot.
It's only like one per minute.
Okay? And then I put one big one because he actually just plain showed up, and then he talked to her on I Am. And I could have put a whole big one too, but I didn't. Because I just got bored with my own task making because it was so much work to pay attention to because there were so many things. And, I mean, everything in this show, barring Weiss, what's this guy's name? Wynn? Barring Wynn, is a reference to Superman. Cat Grant, she's like an alter Lois. Lois Lane. She was like a rival of Lois in the comics, you know.
Cat Grant was?
Yes.
And she worked under
Perry White in the show, is what you're saying, yeah. You know, Cat Co. is always being compared to the Daily Planet. She does that every single time she talks. National City is constantly being compared to Metropolis. Jimmy is the literal lifeline and mouth of Superman half the time, right? I mean, he has a damn button to send him in.
I don't know about the mouth of.
Jimmy's like Superman's representative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the entire show is infested with comparison to Superman, the true hero, the first hero, the real story, and then, oh no, it's not his story, it's my story. And I get that. But we're three episodes in, and we cannot get away from the fact that Superman is what everybody cares about, and no one cares about Supergirl yet. You know?
I mean,
and I just feel like this is just way too much, and it's getting a little annoying to me.
Well,
I mean,
at the same time, we're only 3 episodes in.
I know, and it already feels lethargic to me.
I mean, I feel like this episode did it the most.
Yes,
because,
it
like,
definitely did.
Because their whole point was literally like she wants to separate herself from Clark.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it did it so much. It's like Superman. She's like, I don't want to rely on Superman. I don't want him to be the reason.
I mean, the cape that he gave her,
blanket.
And yeah, it was his blanket, and that was the thing that was saving her at the end of the fight. You know, whenever he was attacking her. You know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Superman. I don't know. It just seems like there's just a lot of cashing in on his name for this show. Does that make sense?
I don't think it's cashing in.
It feels like it.
I think that it's the same thing I said before. Like if you have someone who's like super important and whatnot, and then someone that's one of a kind, and then another one shows up, there's gonna be a lot of comparisons early on. No.
Well, no, I was gonna say no. Yes, I agree. But what I personally mean is like, okay, well, why am I following this story where this one seems much more interesting? It's like, well, because they can't do it on TV right now. They're doing it in the movies.
You mean they should just done Superman?
Yeah, it seems kind of like it because that's what it seems everybody cares about because that's all we hear about.
Well, they do because Supergirl's not important.
I mean, is there one character in this show that has not compared her to Superman?
I feel maybe her sister.
No, she's definitely done it.
Henshaw.
Everybody's done it.
Everybody's done it.
Yes.
Everybody's compared her to her cousin.
Except for they have. I was gonna say except for Kat Grant, but she's compared Supergirl to that.
Her mom.
I guess so. The character is dead. I guess doesn't do it.
Well, she's a hologram.
Come on, she's dead.
I don't know. I think that will fizzle out, especially now more after this episode.
I hope so.
She's proven herself more so. She took out a villain by herself.
I agree. I really hope so. I hope that we don't have to have that too much. I mean, of course you'll have a little bit.
Yeah.
But it just feels like it's doing a disservice to her as a character.
Yeah.
To just constantly keep reminding you that this is not the person that you want to see. It's another girl, and I'm going to tell you why you should care. You know, it just seems like a strange story choice and motivation for a character to, especially a strong female character, to constantly compare herself to the stronger male character that has to come in and save the day. And then it's not that she can take care of herself. Jimmy has to say, hey, quit doing that. He's like, all right, I'll let this happen. It's not that she proved herself that it really happened. It's that Jimmy had to say stop doing it. He's like, hey, Jimmy talked to me. I won't do it anymore.
That is kind of true.
Face.
They did kind of take away.
Yeah.
I feel like what
there was
she
no
did
triumph of her moment.
It wasn't like, hey, I saw what happened. You know, I'll stay away and let you handle it.
Yeah.
Which I could see that being a better way of going about it. I mean, maybe this way it's like, hey, Jimmy did tell him not to come back anymore. But at the same time, it's like, hey, you did this. Mm-hmm. You did something I could never do. You beat a human with a suit that you damaged the first time you fought and then let go and then fought him a second time and then I saved you, but I couldn't defeat him at all. And then you fought him again and you just beat him.
Yeah.
Why didn't she chase him? She damaged his suit. He couldn't shoot, and she just watched him fly away.
I don't know.
He had no abilities, right?
How can he fly with radiation power?
Well, he couldn't shoot, right? I don't know how he can fly with radiation power either, but it could be activating an engine that flies him. I don't know. But I don't get why she just let him go away. He had no powers.
I know. And when he came and saved her, Superman flies in, saves the day, just lets him go too? I mean, it must be a family trait. Just let this guy go.
Like, I don't understand that either. Like, you did something I could never do, Like, he said something like that, right?
Yeah.
How?
I think he was just lying. Just like, this bitch.
Like, I don't
make her feel better.
I don't get how Superman couldn't have beat him to begin with.
Yeah.
Considering he has the experience and everything. But then the fact that she let him go, and then he beat her so badly the second time. Like, was it just because of the door the first time?
Yeah.
Just like, grab a door on your way the next time to fight him.
And then the third time they fought.
She just put her hand up.
She put her hand up.
That's the other thing, too. Her body can't take the damage, right? But
can.
her hand could?
No, her body can take the damage. It's a difference between if I punch you in your chest, it's gonna hurt, right? But if you open your hand, if I have it like this and you're pushing, it doesn't hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of force.
Yeah, but I gotta catch that punch.
Well, true, but once you've done it, then you can do that. You know what I'm saying? It's a matter it's a matter of force because she's impenetrable.
Yeah, but I feel like her whole body should be impenetrable. You know what I mean? Like I feel like her body.
She has not been penetrated yet.
If her hand.
We'll see how things go with Jimmy, who seems to be so into his friendship with Superman, he's gonna bang the female version.
Speaking of Jimmy, why did you get so sad about his conversation? Did you feel that way too when you watched it?
Yeah, it seemed unnecessarily.
Like she was like, I didn't like how we ended, and he kind of seemed like, well,
which is exactly what he told Kara. I didn't like how we ended their fight, isn't it? He had the same exact line, didn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe she's trying to compare.
I felt like hers was like, I don't like how we ended boyfriend girlfriend kind of thing. And he's like, well, I don't know. And she's like, well, let's do dinner. It's like, okay, fine, we'll do dinner.
Yeah.
But he didn't like, okay, I love you. All right, let's get back together. It was none of that. It sounded like he was being more pitiful, where it's like, sure, we can have dinner and talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And then she was like, crying.
Okay. I don't know. Is the only reason that she prefers Jimmy over Win is that he's just hot as shit?
I don't know. I haven't noticed.
Well, I mean...
Okay. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, the one
because
guy's
it seems like Win and Jimmy know the same exact thing, treat her the same exact way, except Jimmy knows Superman and is much more attractive.
Maybe. I mean, he has more experience with someone like her.
Yeah.
Like, superpowered wise.
Okay.
I don't know.
And then she gets sad that he could dare have any other people in his life that might like this very attractive man. And then she goes back and complains to the friend zone guy. You know?
Yeah.
Which friends? I know friend zone's not really a real thing.
He needs to be careful. It ended up like my super ex-girlfriend with Luke Wilson.
Yeah.
Uma Thurman comes in and just starts crushing his car and stuff.
I never saw that.
Really?
Was it good?
It was alright. I don't know if I watched it all though. I just remember parts of it.
Yeah. I mean, we've said this before. I don't know if this show is made for us. Because sometimes it feels like it isn't. But I enjoy parts of it too. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Flash and Arrow have a huge female fan base. You know, they really do. And maybe they're trying to appeal at that with this. But I don't think you're going to do that when you're constantly beating down your main character with allusions to a stronger male character.
Yeah. They're not giving her any power, really.
No.
And every time they do, they kind of just take it away.
And, I mean, but is it like a self-fulfilling prophecy because Supergirl's never going to be better than Superman? I mean, you just, by the nature of the story, I mean, I don't know why I say that, but I just believe it. But I think it's like a sexist thing for me to say. She could just get better.
Yeah, they could be equals.
But I don't think so.
Two equally limitless people.
Yeah. And, I mean, and then prediction-wise, are we ever going to see him, or is it always going to be this, like...
I don't know.
Thing like this.
Brandon Ruth.
He is kind of a skinnier Superman.
Yeah. It would be funny if it was Brandon Ruth.
That would be funny.
And then they did tie it, and he just plays two characters.
Yeah, this is Earth 3 or 4 or something.
I had one more thing that I kind of want to bring up. I don't know what you're going to say.
No,
okay.
No, go ahead.
It's the Supergirl versus Kara, like the way she acts. And I also tied in, because I wrote down glasses.
Yeah.
She doesn't need her glasses, right? To see? Because she's Kryptonian and superpowers and like that. So if she had no plans of being a superhero or anything, why did she start wearing glasses and stuff? Like, I could see...
Because Clark does, I guess?
That's how I'm... Like, she didn't have to hide her identity. Like, even if you look at Smallville, right? Clark in that didn't wear glasses until, like, later on when he's like, I need to start trying to hide this more, right? It was kind of like... Because he did later on in the series, didn't he?
Yeah.
But that was, like, trying to hide who he was more so. As soon as we saw her, she was wearing glasses. Mm-hmm. And she didn't really use her powers or anything. But why did she have to wear glasses at all?
I mean, I could see her, like, you know, maybe it's left over from her mom and dad teaching her, look, you constantly have to always be hiding who you really are. You know, hide behind glasses, hide behind the little bun, you know, hide behind the pencil skirts and shit. But I think you guys talked about this last week. The difference in posture, confidence, voice presence, everything that should be between Kara and Supergirl is not good enough.
No.
There is no way in hell Cat Grant is that good at her job and cannot tell her that's...
See, that's how I feel about it. Like, especially now that she's interviewed her and met her.
Yeah.
And seen her face and everything. And it's like, how do you... Because, like, even the way they act. she doesn't act like Superman acts confident.
Yes.
He has composure and stuff. And then when he's Clark, Christopher Reeve did a great job.
There's no
bumbling and stumbling
there's no
and clumsy.
better example of what we're talking about than Christopher Reeve. I think of Superman 2. It's when they're in the hotel at Niagara Falls and she like realizes it's Superman, and he's like sitting like this and she's like, Superman. And she turns around and looks at him and he just like, he realizes that he's caught and he's like, and he like transforms in front of you because he's a Juilliard trained actor. You know what I'm saying? Like he goes from that to a complete other person without changing his glasses or his outfit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's none of that. I think what they're trying to do is appeal to that nerdy, slightly awkward, girl that likes comics but also likes girly things too. And they have both Kara and Supergirl doing that. Whereas I feel that, yeah, okay, that's what her real character is like, but she should not be doing those things as Supergirl. I don't know how do I even define that?
Yeah, I mean,
but there's the lack of difference between those two is also hurting this show.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I still sense that in this one, and I guess until I stop sensing that, I'm gonna maybe stop writing it down because I know I said about it last episode.
I just need to get my 2 cents in. Yeah, and there's 41 mentions of Superman in this show. We got to that high. Let's see if we can beat it next week. I don't think
I'm
we
gonna
will.
count it now next week.
Yeah, you should.
Or one of us should. Depends on who's in it.
Now, you guys put down your opinions. Was it too harsh of me to count every pronoun?
I mean, at one point, like, I felt like per scene you should have gone by it maybe a little bit more.
So, like, every time they just bring him up, and then he stays the subject of the conversation?
Like, if he's the subject of the conversation, like, they're both, like, like, I mean, what do you think about Superman? Well, Superman's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you count both of those.
I'm just saying, I missed a couple because, like, Wynn was going, like, oh, Clark Kent, Superman? And I was like, Superman's Clark Kent? Superman, Clark Kent?
Yeah, he was like, trying to process
and I was like, I won't do it anymore.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. But then, like, Clark showed up on the IM, and you're like, Clark. And then, like, you type a little bit more.
And then they did more.
And it's like, Clark. And it's like, Clark. And it's like, Clark.
Yeah.
And then she goes, all right, thanks, Clark. And then it shows Clark. And you're like, better mark one more. I'm like, what?
Well, it's because she said thanks, Clark. They use a different... I don't know. If I did the pronoun game perfectly, I probably would have been well over 50.
If you counted every single time they mentioned it, yeah.
But if it was only a scene-by-scene subject basis, it probably still would have been well over
20,
15.
I think it'd be in the 20s.
Yeah. Too much, guys. Too much.
All right, guys. I think that's going to be it for this episode of Supergirl. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought.
Hey, I still had fun watching it.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm still gonna watch it. I want to give it at least. I like to usually try to give stuff at least a season to kind of see how it.
See if they can get its legs.
Yeah, because sometimes there's some series out there that like the first season's kind of rocky, but then as they kind of build up from there, it gets really good.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. First season was kind of.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got Winter Soldier and became one of the best television shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was okay before that, but then it got great.
It wasn't this.
I loved it.
It wasn't this bad.
So we'll see how this goes. Next week, we don't know who's going to be on here. So
Yep.
Someone will be here though. Hopefully on time.
Yep.
Make sure you guys check out blindwave.net. We have all our reactions, our live feed, our Let's Plays, forums. Basically everything Blindwave is on there. You can also see our Patreon account there too.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys get a chance, stop by there, check that out. It's patreon.com/blindwave, or as I said, you can see the link under the Support Us tab on blindwave.net.
Yep.
Besides that, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and until next week, I'm Aaron.
I'm Supergirl. Wait, you were Supergirl. I'm Aaron.
Nope, he's Supergirl now.
See it.
Bye, Reactron!